What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Live Game Season 1, Episode 21. That means we're old enough to drink now. Thank y'all very much. This is the average man's perspective on football.
Average man's what?
Perspective. Joining me on the panel tonight is Brian. Say what up, Brian.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
What?
Herman.
Hey, how's it going?
And Mark.
Good evening.
Before we get started, I want to encourage you to run on over to sportsintel.net for some great opinion and commentary on everything sports related. Once again, that's sportsintel.net. Also want to encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell icon so you get notified whenever we go live. Give them the Twitter handle, Brian.
It's at delay of game 3.
At the Live Game 3. So Wild Card Weekend is in the books. I did terrible this week. So let's, as far as my picks go, so let's get started.
Not the only one. Yeah, it was definitely a wild card weekend. You had one home team win. One. So we're gonna get into this right now. All right. So we're gonna start off with the Colts and the Texans. The Colts came in there and they dominated the Texans. In all honesty, I mean, it wasn't. I was mad. I wanted a good game, and I was bored. So
21-0.
Yeah, I mean,
21-7.
21-7.
Yeah, 7. Yeah. So Marcus, who'd you have in this one?
I picked the Texans. I don't know what happened to the Texans, man. You know, I've been all in on them since the beginning of the season, and they just came in there and stunk it up. I mean, the Colts. The Colts started 1-5. I mean, they totally turned that season around. They should be the comeback team of the season. The way they turned that season around, they just came in there on the Texans' home field and just basically, like you said, it was a boring game. They basically demolished them. The Texans not look like they didn't deserve to be in that game. So you know, I've been saying for a while now that everybody should be scared of the Ravens. Well, I'm at the change. I think everybody should be scared of the Colts now.
Yeah, I had the Texans too, and you know, looking at that game, you would have thought that the Colts were the division winners. And the Texans snuck into the playoffs. I mean, it was just a completely dominant game by the Colts, and they're hot. Everybody's talking about the Chargers being hot, and you know, a little bit of Dallas being the Ravens being hot, and all year long it's been the Colts silently doing what they do, and now they're doing it when it counts. So I got that one wrong too. Mark, who'd you have?
Yeah, I struck out on this one also. I took the Texans. One stat sticks out to me with the Colts where Marlon Mack, their running back, was 24 attempts for 148 yards. They controlled the ball. Definitely the first half. Defense played solid in the first half. In the second half, all they did was just set on that lead. I was a little kind of taken by Houston's the second half, they really didn't come out and change the game plan. I was surprised about that. But Clowney and Watt, they kept them under wraps.
They played.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I thought they might have been out.
But you know, hats goes off the coach. They played the perfect game that they needed to do. So and they did it.
Brian, who's you?
So I lone wolf this one. So I did pick this one correct. I did pick the Colts. The Colts have been a hot team, and of course they were extremely high on my radar ever since they took care of my Cowboys that week. So like Herman said, this game was boring. Watt and Clowney, merciless. I mean, I didn't know that they were on the field because you never called their name. They never put any pressure on the quarterback. Luck was standing back there making throws. The wide receiver who went in there with the clown mask, he didn't have T.Y. Hilton. He didn't have a great game, but he had clutch catches on big plays, 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 11s, 3rd and 12s, catching the ball, getting the first down, keeping the chains moving. The offense of the Texans just wasn't on point. They couldn't really run. They couldn't really pass. They really couldn't do anything. It seemed like the quarterback was back there, kind of going for his life because that Colts defense, quiet as kept, played a very good game too. So, I mean, you just got to give them credit. I mean, Frank Reich got that team ready to roll. You know, he was the second choice as a head coach, but he actually was the best choice.
It's always hard to play a divisional opponent.
The third time.
Yeah, especially the third time. Even though they split, it's almost like that's the last person you want to play in the playoffs sometimes.
And the worst part is the first game was close. I mean, had Frank Wright made a better decision. He probably would have won.
Both games were close. Each game they played in the season were just 3-point games.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to move on to the Saturday night game. It was a primetime game. It was Seattle at Dallas. So we'll start with you, Mark. Who'd you have on this one?
This one, I'm eating crow for you Cowboys fan. I chose the Seahawks. I thought that Russell Wilson was a more experienced quarterback and was going to show his true dominance in the postseason. That didn't happen. I'm amazed too on how they didn't change up their game plan. Also, I kind of knew Seattle was in trouble when the kicker got hurt, and I knew if it came down to the kicking game that he wasn't going to be able to get it done. But they just kept trying to force the run and really not really mix up any pass run, anything like that. They just looked out a characteristic for Seattle as far as how they ran their offense. I didn't quite. Had to go off the Dallas defense. Dallas defense did play well, but I chose Seattle and I chose wrong.
Marcus, who'd you have?
Once again, picked the wrong team on this one. That's going to be a theme for me throughout the night. I expected a good game, and it was a close game, 22-24. But the Seahawks never get their rushing game going, and pretty much Zeke ate. So, I mean, that says it right there. I mean, Russell, he did do quite a bit, 18-27, 233 yards, 1 touchdown, but they could not get a run game going at all, and I think that's what probably would have killed them.
Yeah, I picked the Cowboys on this one, of course. And I expected it to be a close game. And like you said, Mark, it was interesting that Seattle never changed their game plan. There was one series where they ran it like 3 straight times, and I think the first play Dallas dropped them for a loss. The second play they might have gained 2. I'm thinking, all right, it's 3rd down. They're gonna do something a little different, and they didn't. I think they ran it again, and it was just that Dallas defense is definitely the key to these victories for Dallas. But there's one other thing too, and we talk about Zeke does eat. They got to definitely feed Zeke, but as bad as Dak has looked, Dak has made some very key drives and very key plays that especially won us that game. The 3rd down scramble was 3rd and 15 or something like that, and the throw to the touchdown to Gallup, he audible to that. So Dak has these intangibles, and it drives the Cowboys fans crazy all game long because he'll do crazy stuff. But when we go into that no huddle, it's like he's just free flowing out there, and I have confidence that he can take us down the field at any time when we're in that type of situation. So I picked the Cowboys. They had like I said, I thought they had a great game. The defense was just outstanding. And that's how they're going to keep playing throughout the playoffs. They got to keep that same formula going. Brian?
So high five to Herman. Also picked the Cowboys. The 2 smartest people on this panel.
That looks so stupid. Don't high five again. Don't ever high five.
So here's the thing. I was listening to you guys, talking about Seattle and not, necessarily changing their game plan, but that game was close. The game was close pretty much the whole point. When they did kick that 1 field goal at the end of the half and they lost their field goal kicker, they still got down there. They still got 2 2-point conversions in that game to make that game close. The reason is that the Seahawks got off to a slow start. Like their first 3 drives, they went 3 now. The Dallas defense was shutting down their running game, but Russell was throwing dimes. I mean, he threw a dime to Baldwin to the sideline. I think it was on the 4th down play. Yeah. And I just knew he was out of bounds. And that Bama drugged him 2 feet and got that first.
You saw the smoke.
Yes, yes. I mean, Seattle, they really, I think why they chose to keep running the ball, keep trying to go, is because, again, this was a close game. It could have been anybody's game. I think Dallas did get a big benefit of Seattle no longer being able to kick a field goal, knowing they have to get all the way down the field. They have to score touchdowns and they have to score 2-point conversions. And with them taking such a slow stance in the beginning of the game, Dallas just built up a big enough lead and made crucial plays on their own to win this game. So, I mean, the Cowboys were the better team overall. They outran them. They did get the rushing yards and passing yards that they needed. And a shout out to Alan Hearns, man. Get better. Shame on you, Fox 5, for making us look at that gruesome play in slow motion and high def. But I picked the Cowboys.
All right, so we're going to move on to Sunday's games. The Chargers at the Ravens. And we'll start off with Brian. Who do you have on this one?
On this one, I did go with the Chargers. In my opinion, I had felt like the Ravens' offense was gimmicky at best. I felt like when the chips were down, that when you had to run or you had to pass, I wasn't positive that they were going to be able to accomplish that. I thought that the Chargers actually were going to get out to a bigger lead. I thought they were going to be able to score. They were going to be able to run. They were going to be able to get their game on point. But kudos to the Ravens defense. They did keep them to like 9 points at one point in the game. And in the fourth quarter, they finally got that touchdown. But, I mean, everyone was screaming for Flacco to come in like in the third quarter. We kept looking at it like, is he going to send Flacco in? And Flacco kept sitting on the sidelines with his helmet on, which was really odd. But, the biggest question was like, why have Flacco there if you're not going to put him in? Why wouldn't you have RG3 in there as the backup? Why even have
they didn't have him activated.
Right. But my point is that they were never going to put Flacco in this game. And if you did put Flacco in this game, your whole offense is based on this run, pass, option type thing, which Flacco can't run, where RG3 I felt would have been a better option at the end.
Flacco was going to be murdered if they put him in.
Exactly. Yeah, because that San Diego defense was coming. Melvin,
they were getting
not
sacked.
Melvin Gordon, but Melvin
English.
Melvin Ingram was on it. I mean, every time you turn around, he was in the backfield. Yeah. And I mean, it was just a lot of pressure on that rookie quarterback. But you got to give it to the Chargers. They did enough, but they got their running game and they got enough passing in there to get that win.
Mark, who'd you have?
This one I chose the Chargers also. Defensive game, in the first half, I thought was a big key too. But one of the keynote you talked about as far as putting Flacco in there, the way that offense was designed with Lamar Jackson, Flacco wouldn't have been able to get them guys in. He wouldn't have no time.
Yeah.
And really, Jackson's mobility is what really got them plays and got them able to advance. So without Flacco, without Jackson doing that, I definitely don't think the Ravens would have scrounged up those points that they did. I just think that for Jackson, they kind of kept the playbook a little bit too simple for him. They didn't open it up. That's what made it a little bit difficult for Ravens to really, really get into the game. And they had a slow start. They started out slow. They didn't really start passing the ball until later on in the third quarter, close to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they had like -8 yards in the third quarter.
Yeah. And what I heard a couple of fans talking about it on the radio, that they necessarily wasn't booing Lamar, they were booing the play calls more so than anything else. But
they were booing when they were walking on the field. So.
I was just saying
that's what they were saying. But I don't know. It kind of felt like in the moment they were booing Lamar.
But the Chargers were victorious. I chose them.
Well, during the sideline report, they said that there were fans sitting there chanting for Flacco to come in, and one of the Ravens players actually turned to them and was like,
I think it was the corner.
Yeah, it turned to them and said, Jackson got us here. Chill out with that. So I think there were some of them booing Jackson. But Marcus, who'd you have?
Once again, taking the L. I picked the Ravens. Just the way the Ravens have been playing the last half of the season, I just had a lot of faith in them.
I thought you took the Chargers.
No, I picked the Ravens. Huh. So, I mean, this game was a pretty close game if you look at the stats, like total yards, passing yards, rushing yards, average yards per play. The biggest difference is sacks allowed. Chargers had 1, Baltimore had 7. So they basically, yeah.
Oh my God.
So basically, they were just they had Lamar Jackson running around for his life.
Yeah.
And like you got, what was Flacco going to do? And at the point they were calling for him,
it'd have been like 10, 11 sacks.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. At that point, the game was pretty much out of reach anyway. I think they got to 17 just by pretty much garbage points to end. But I give it to the Chargers. I didn't expect this much from them. This week coming up is going to be very interesting. The Chargers seem like they're the real deal. So, we might get an LA Super Bowl. You never know.
I went with the Ravens on this one too. I was surprised. I haven't trusted the Chargers, even though they've been playing well. I just haven't trusted them all season anyway. But they came in there, and I think that honestly, I think their defense was the biggest difference in this game.
It was.
Those sacks. Lamar Jackson had no time. I'm watching the game, and I'm just like, geez, it's like a jailbreak to the quarterback. Like, are they blocking? And they're thinking about Flacco, and I'm like, yeah, you want to get somebody really hurt? Yeah, go ahead and put him in. It was just ugly for the Ravens, and I think, Mark, you're right. They didn't open up their playbook enough. They didn't have enough options in there to run different things. So I think, it was his rookie year, and his first experience in the playoffs. I think it was a good experience, and he's learned the loss now. He'll bounce back, I think.
He tasted that loss.
Yeah. But I think
Rivers, he wasn't even really a factor in this game. He was just 22 for 32 for 160 yards, no touchdowns.
It's almost like you said, Marcus. Both the teams kind of marry each other.
Whoa. You didn't see that spectacular run that Rivers did? And got the first down.
Wow, that was the longest run of his career.
One other note in it, too, is that the turnovers. The Ravens had 3 turnovers compared to Chargers.
Yeah.
1. That was another thing the Chargers were able to capitalize. Even though they're field goals, but it was still momentum for them.
So and short fields, too, so they didn't have to go through all that pressure that Ravens defense.
All right, so the last game of the wild card weekend, and it was wild, was the Eagles at the Bears. I'll start off with this one. I picked the Bears. I thought that their defense was going to dominate in this game. I don't even know what to say about this game because I felt real torn because I kind of wanted the Eagles to win so Dallas would get to play the Rams, but I didn't want the Eagles to win because I didn't want to hear the Eagles' mouth. But it took a blocked field goal at the end. It was not a miss. It was the NFL called it a block.
Trayvon Hester.
I felt so bad for that kicker. Man, I felt bad for that kicker. But, the Eagles, I don't know so much if they're so much this hot team. I forget what was the final score in the game.
15-16.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that the Eagles are this super hot team. I'm feeling like people are overlooking the Eagles right now. I think the Bears overlooked them. I honestly do. The Eagles are playing a little bit more inspired, and they looked hungry. They looked like they wanted it more. The Bears showed up, and it almost looked like they were we're here, time to win this game. And it didn't happen for them. And the Bears snuck in there. And again, it came down to a kick. The Bears could have been easily flipped. The Bears could have won that game. So I went with the Bears, and I got it wrong. Brian?
I also picked this one wrong. You damn kicker. I would have went 4-0 if it wasn't for the damn kicker. But, in honesty, the game should not have come down to the kicker. The Bears were the superior team. The Bears should have won this game. I don't know what happened to Mack in this game. His name wasn't hardly called until the fourth quarter or down there at the goal line where they're trying to score to take the lead. He makes a nice sack on the running back in the backfield. But that was about all you really heard from Mack. And then to give up that touchdown on 4th and goal, you would think that if any defense out there could have stopped that, it would have been the Bears. Philly is, I don't know, they're like a thorn in your side. They're just always right there and right there. They're not the greatest. They're not the flashiest. They just make critical plays at critical times in the game. And, you got to give it up to them. The coach froze the kicker. The kicker kicked one. He timed out. He made that one. The next one, how do you hit the upright and the crossbar?
Well, remember, it was blocked.
Yeah, it was blocked, but he still did it 5 times. So he's pretty good at it.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's been pretty good at hitting those uprights.
I don't know how in the world you bring him back. But, if I was him, I probably would have retired if it.
Well, see, they were saying this is the guy that used to be in San Francisco, right? This kicker.
Yes, Cody Martin.
They were saying he's only missed 2 field goals since he left San Francisco, something like that.
Well, it can't be right because he missed 5 this year.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, he hit the upright.
He hit the upright.
But some of them might have bounced in though, didn't they? I don't know. I think I'm keeping him.
I think so too.
Uprights, I just need to make a little bit of an adjustment, and he's going to be money all the time.
I do give him much respect though for staying and sitting in that locker and answering all those questions after that game. Because you could see it in his face. He looked like he wanted to cry when he was leaving the field. Not in a disrespectful, but just hurt. That he didn't get that win for his team. Yeah.
Marcus, who'd you have?
Well, to round out my 0-4 week, I picked the Bears. Like you're saying, Brian, the Eagles are just throwing in the side. They just keep sticking around and sticking around. I just feel like they shouldn't be where they're at. I mean, it's just a pain in the arse. I just don't understand it. The Bears were the better team. They should have won that game. They should feel some kind of way. It shouldn't have came down to the kicker. They should feel some kind of way about losing the game. And it shouldn't have came down to the kicker. All of them should be taking that heat and using it for motivation for next season. Because I don't think nobody picked the Bears to make the playoffs this season.
No, they didn't. This was
But they had a hell of a season, especially once Khalil Mack got there and.
Definitely nobody picked them to win the division, so you're right.
So I just had a lot of high hopes for them. So I just hope they take this in the next season, use it for fire. And I hope they get to play the Eagles in the regular season next year, and hope they put a whooping on them.
Mark, who'd you have?
Yeah, this one I was disappointed in the Bears also. I chose the Bears, and Philly Magic somehow prevailed in this particular game. I'm gonna read you one stat, and you read the stat, and you tell me what you thought at the beginning of the game. 26 for 43 for 303 yards and 1 touchdown. That's Mitch Trubisky. He did everything to win this game for him. I didn't think that he.
How many times did he throw the ball? 43 attempts.
That's
26.
That's the problem.
That's too.
That's exactly why they lost.
But how many rushing yards? Do you have the rushing stats?
Yeah, the rushing stats for Howard was 10 carries for 35 yards. That's it. Aldridge Robinson had 10 catches for 143 yards. So they were doing a lot of passing.
Yeah. How many total rushing yards was it, Marcus?
They had 65 Chicago, but Philly only had 42.
Yeah, but still, they should have been rushing.
Chicago's a running team.
Yeah, exactly.
They're a running team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they kind of went out of their game plan.
Even Trubisky didn't run.
Yeah,
he's been a runner.
Yeah, he's absolutely been a runner this year.
But go ahead. Sorry.
One last thing. I had to agree with Brian on this one. It shouldn't even came down to field goals as far as I'm concerned. If Chicago defense stops Philly from making that drive, we wouldn't be talking about it. And another thing, the so-called catch fumble. What in the world?
Oh my God! I almost
that?
forgot about that.
Yeah.
What was that?
I can't with the NFL rules.
And then did you hear the ref explanation of it? It was a catch. Third down.
It's like how can you say because it was a fumble and no one picked the ball up that it's not a catch, even though it falls in the rules of being a catch in the NFL? It's preposterous. I mean,
and then my question is, why is the play dead? Why would the refs call the play dead? That ball is live. Right. No matter how long it sits there.
You don't blow
the ball is live. Why did the ref made the recovery?
Well, eventually he did. He waited though. To his credit, I think if you go back and watch it, they signaled it off. He kind of stood there a little bit, and nobody was going to get the ball.
No, nobody.
So at that point, he was getting the ball because they were about to, reset the ball. So that was the NFL. They need to sit down and look at their rules because seriously, the rule should be if no one recovered it, it should have just been their ball right there at the spot.
The reception,
yeah.
Whoever almost like as if he fumbled it out of bounds.
Exactly. There you go, right there. If you fumble it out of bounds, it's right where the ball, because it's right where it went out of bounds.
That was crazy.
It was.
And that was a big momentum for Chicago because instead of going up 10-6, they were, instead of going up with just a field goal, they'd have been going up by a touchdown, and that could have been the difference in the momentum in that game.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That was a very critical play. Very.
Does anybody have Nick Foles stats? I'm just curious what he did.
Nick Foles.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
No, we were just going to say with the Eagles talking about them being a thorn in the side.
I got it. I'm sorry. I got it. 25 for 40, 266 yards, 2 touchdowns.
And 2 interceptions.
2 interceptions. Yeah, so he didn't play like the greatest game
He
either.
played a usual Nick Foles game, bro.
I mean, I don't know. But I guess I can't remember that damn Super Bowl where he was like 400-something yards.
Yeah, those days are gone. But just the last note on this game, like you talked about the Eagles being a thorn in the side, but that's what everybody says is you just got to get in the tournament. Yes. And this is a classic scene of you just got to get in the tournament, and you don't know. There's no telling what's going to happen this week. That's why we play the games. So it was definitely a wild card weekend, and that game ended it off in a wild way. And I think that's why you watch the NFL. So we're going to move into the divisional round games this week. We're going to start off with the Colts at the Chiefs. And I'm going to let Marcus start this with all.
But this is going to be. I think this is going to be a good game. I'm a little scared of the Colts. The Chiefs. Their only weakness is their defense, which is a very bad weakness because defense pretty much sucks. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick Kansas City. I want to see. This is more like a hope pick than I actually think is going to happen. Pick. I like to see Mahomes, make it to the conference championship, but I'm not too sure about it, especially the way the Colts played against the Texans. But it is in Arrowhead, so I'm picking the Chiefs.
I'm gonna roll with you the same way. I'm gonna pick the Chiefs. I saw a stat. I meant to write it down, but I think Andrew Luck in the playoffs outdoors is like 0-3 or something like that. I think that was the stat I saw, or something along those lines. But the Colts are a dome team. They went to the Texans and they beat the Texans in the dome. But this is the Chiefs, and it's hard to play in Arrowhead Stadium. I think that if it's going to be an offensive shootout, I'm giving this one to the Chiefs. So I'm rolling with the Chiefs. How about you, Mark?
This was a tough one for me. It's really tough. I pretty much kind of predicted that one of the wild card teams, one of the lower seed teams, will make it all the way to the Super Bowl. That means if I don't take the Colts, that means I have to go with Philly. One other thing about this game, Kansas City, Andy Reid's first year coaching, the coach came back on him in an AFC wild card game and ended up beating them.
Yeah,
I think Andy Reid will have much to prove in this particular game. I'm gonna have to put a little nod favor more for Kansas City, and that means if I put the Colts up there, that means they're gonna probably end up going all the way. I'm gonna pick Kansas City on this one. I'm gonna take Kansas City.
Brian, who you got?
so I thought that Mark was going to have to howl because I thought he was going to go with the Colts. But I'm agreeing with you guys. The Chiefs are a 5-point underdog in this particular game. Like you said, it's at home. They're well rested. The Colts have been playing playoff football for a while now. They're a great team, but I just don't think that they're going to have enough firepower to keep up with that Kansas City offense. I think Mahomes is going to get him up by a couple touchdowns. I see Luck making a couple interceptions. I see the Chiefs winning this game.
You say who's a 5-point underdog? The Colts?
No, the Chiefs. The Chiefs are giving up 5.
Okay.
It's Colts the underdog.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said underdog. My fault. My fault. You can't be underdog at home.
It's always throwing a spread. You could you always throwing those spreads in there. All right. We're going to move on to the Saturday night game. They got the Cowboys basically in the same slot. It's going to be the Cowboys at the Rams. I don't know how much of a road game this is actually going to be for the Cowboys because we have a lot of fans in LA. So let's kick this one off with one of you haters. Mark, we'll start with this one.
You keep saying we a lot. So you going to be in LA on Saturday playing the game?
Yeah, I'm flying out tonight.
Another tough one for me to call. Dallas defense is playing so well, so great. Rams got that high-powered offense. Not too much the defense. They still a little bit, but they got a lot of playmakers in the defense that the big payroll. They're going to have to come and play. I'm going to have to go to Rams in this one. I think they playing at home. They're in their backyard. Dallas going to have a lot to overcome to take this one. So I'm taking the Rams in this particular one, y'all.
Let's hear it, other haters.
I don't know why I got to be a hater.
Because you are.
Well, I agree with you, Herman, on the fact that I don't think this is much of a home game for the Rams. I mean, it's L.A., and, there are Cowboys fans everywhere. And there's so many other things to do in L.A., so I don't know how much this is like a home. They really have a home field advantage. And, I picked the Cowboys to win the division, but that's as far as I'm willing to go. I can't have them in the conference championship. I can't have the two of you for another week on Cloud 9. I am worried about the Rams. We need the Rams of the beginning of the season.
You're going to be on their side?
No, I'm saying we as me and my fellow Cowboy hitters. Oh. We need the Rams. The beginning of the season, not the end of the season. We need them to go in there and, I want them to dominate the Cowboys, maybe like the Colts did, but I don't see that happening. Their defense is too good. But this will be a close game, and I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Rams.
All right. Of course, I'm going with the Cowboys. I don't think it's going to be that hard of a road game for the Cowboys because I think there's going to be a lot of Cowboys fans, kind of like how we take over FedEx Field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whoa. You ain't got to put all that nonsense in.
James Stadium.
Yeah, we take over. I mean, that's what we do. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be an easy game for the Cowboys. I think Dallas's defense has shown that we can definitely shut down these high-powered offenses. And the Rams offense has not been that great lately. I was looking at some stats before the show. Jared Goff has not been playing very good football since week 12.
He is not. Matter of fact, Dak has outplayed him.
Dak has outplayed him.
Really?
Yes. And it wasn't even close. I think Dak had 108. 108 was his QB rating compared to Goff's 78, I think it was. And Dak was completing 70-some% of his passes, I think it was, to Goff's 50 or something like that. I can't remember, but it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a hard game. I think that there's something special going on with Dallas right now.
No, not really.
Yeah, didn't ask you, hater. So I'm gonna roll with the Cowboys. They're gonna get to the NFC Championship game. And Dak Prescott, in his second time in the playoffs, is gonna have more playoff wins than Tony Romo after this weekend. Brian, who you got?
Make him a lone wolf, Brian. Make him a lone wolf.
Absolutely not.
Let's see.
LA Dream, the LA Super Bowl in today. All right. Saturday night, the Cowboys will roll into their home field and they will beat the LA Rams. The Cowboys, like Herman said, have the defense to shut this down. The Rams haven't really been the same since they lost Cooper Kupp. They still got Woods and they still have the what's the other wide receiver?
Reynolds.
No,
Josh Reynolds.
The one from the Patriots with the Patriots.
Yeah, Cooks.
Yeah,
Cooks.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they still have a powerful offense. This is definitely not going to be a cakewalk in this particular game, but the way that the Cowboys shut down that Saints offense and the fact that Gurley's coming off an injury, he hasn't played in a month. He's going to have a little bit of rust. They're going to be nervous.
So that means he's well rested then.
Well rested or well rusty. We'll decide which one it is. The only thing that makes me nervous about this game is the Cowboys do have some issues on the offense when it comes to the wide receivers. Beasley is an ankle injury. The tight end, Jarwin, has a possible high ankle sprain, so they're both questionable. We saw how the defense dominated pretty much Russell Wilson for a few plays. But Zeke's going to eat. The Rams have one of the worst rush defenses.
5.1 yards per carry.
Oh, that's not good.
So as long as Sue keeps playing the way he's been playing, the Cowboys will win this game. Give me my boys.
What's the point spread in this game, too?
Oh, the Rams actually have given up 7. They're giving up a touchdown.
Wow. I can't believe they gave them that much of a
Yeah, they're the second highest spread this week.
interesting. No respect.
The
It's even better.
defense gets scored on.
I mean, but the Rams have been scoring. I mean, they were scoring like 30, averaging 30 a game. Oh, and the number one point that the Dallas Cowboys need to get to is 20 points a game.
Yeah.
When the Cowboys get to 20 points a game, they are 11-0, 10-0, or 11-0. Take that to the bank.
19.
All right, we're gonna move
Less than
on.
that, 7.
Whatever. We're gonna move on to the next game, and that's gonna be the Chargers at the Patriots. This was a hard game. I'm gonna start this one off. This was a hard game to pick because I've been counting the Chargers out all year long. I've been telling y'all I don't trust the Chargers. I don't trust the Chargers. They're rolling into New England, and New England's not playing, that great. They're not the New England that everybody's used to seeing. And with me not trusting the Chargers all season long, I've been sleeping on the Chargers. So this time around, I'm still gonna sleep on the Chargers and go with the Patriots because I don't believe in the Chargers, and it's the Patriots at home in the playoff. People just don't go up there and win that often. So I'm going with the Patriots.
I think the last team that did it was like Baltimore.
Yeah.
I don't even know what year that was.
That was a while ago.
Right.
Exactly.
That
was when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right. So on that note, we're gonna roll to Mark. Who you got for this?
This one, I'm gonna have to think with my head and not my heart. As much as I've been saying one of these wild card teams are gonna go with it, I'm gonna have to say Chargers. I don't think New England hasn't shown me too much. Chargers have shown me a lot. that I have faith in them. They also getting Hunter Henry back, their tight end, so you need a little bit more depth there in the tight end. But I don't think I think the Chargers are coming there and shock New England. So plus I got one of these wild card teams that have to make it for me. So there it is. There's the Chargers.
All right, Brian, who you got?
So I agree with Mark. I'm also going with the Chargers. Herman's right. I don't know why, but this feels like a trap game. The Chargers have all the momentum. The Patriots haven't been playing that great. Tom Brady's old. But then there's Bill Belichick. And that dude always has a master plan or some type of game rate. But I'm sitting here trying to think, who does Belichick shut down for the Chargers? Does he try to shut down Melvin Gordon with the running game? Does he try to shut down the wide receivers?
I think he goes with the wide receivers because Melvin Gordon is actually banged up.
He is banged up.
He got two bad
injuries. Yeah, because he got banged up in that.
So they pretty much tried to shut down.
I think he tried to shut down the pass.
And it's just like, it just seems like really only Gronk and Edelman. And I guess White. But I don't know. I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm going to go with the Chargers.
All right, and Marcus, you're going to round this one out. I always pick you last for your Patriots picks.
You should already know.
If you make Herman lone wolf, oh my goodness.
Who did you pick, Herman?
Herman picked the Patriots.
You know damn well I'm picking the Patriots. I don't know why you even think I.
Just making sure.
I pretty much been down on Patriots all season. They haven't been looking like what they should. But now it's their time. It's playoff time. It's at home. And like I said, you can't trust the Chargers, man. I don't care what they've been doing. They went in Baltimore and beat them, but that's Baltimore. They're not going in the Gillette Stadium and beating Tom Brady and the Patriots. Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
And Philip Rivers has never beat the Patriots.
Yeah, he's never beat Tom Brady in his career.
And he won't beat him today. He won't beat him on Saturday or Sunday.
That's a crazy stat, man, too.
Very crazy.
He's like 0-4 against them. Yeah.
And he's been in the league a long time.
You remember the first time I think he saw him in the playoffs? That's when he had that knee injury, and he came out and played, and they got on the Daly and Thompson.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so the last game of the divisional round weekend, we got the Eagles at the Saints. I'll let Mark start this one off.
That Philly Magic. I said it last week that Philly Magic was going to end. God dang it, that Philly Magic going to end this time. I'm taking New Orleans all the way. They're going to smoke Philly. I think, too, New England has a little bit of bad blood with. New Orleans have a little bit of bad blood with them. Somebody ran the score up on them.
New Orleans ran the score up on the Eagles.
Okay, yeah. They'll run it up again. I'm taking it.
Brian, who you got?
So speaking of that score, the last time they played, it was 48-7. Drew Brees was 22 of 30 passing, 363 yards, 4 touchdowns. They're at 8.5 point, giving up 8.5 points. The Eagles' magic is over. Give me the Saints.
Hey, spoken like a true smart man.
Marcus, who you got?
Well, I'm going to say it right now. Eagles don't want none of that smoke from New Orleans. The Saints are going to dominate, go in there and kill them off. And if nothing else, just for the reason is that I cannot have, and if Dallas wins on Saturday, I cannot have an NFC East guarantee to the Super Bowl this year.
You said it, Marcus. You said it.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
You should be happy if the NFC East represents the NFL.
Absolutely.
No, I'm only happy if it's the Redskins. I don't. The last thing I need is the Cowboys Super Bowl. And
didn't you root for the Eagles last year in the championship? Didn't you root over them?
No, against the Patriots. No. So just on GP alone, I'm picking the Saints.
Well, I'm gonna round it out with my pick. I'm going with the Saints. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this one. Now, I will tell you this: if Dallas wins on Saturday, or when Dallas wins on Saturday, I will become an Eagles fan on Sunday. You better believe it.
Why do you care? You guys beat the.
We'll get a home game.
Oh.
I want the home game. And then what better would it be to go to the Super Bowl and knock
send
the Eagles out
home? So
I'll be fly Eagles fly once the Cowboys win on Saturday. But right now, I'm picking the Saints. I hope that is one pick that I get wrong when my Cowboys win. So. We're going to see what happens. Hopefully, we'll have a good divisional weekend just like we did, most of the games for a wild card weekend.
What time is the first game?
They're all 4 and 8.
At 4 o'clock.
Oh, well, Saturdays are 4 and 8.
Yes,
Sunday is 1 and 4. So it's in that order.
Unfortunately, the worst game of the one that's going to be a debacle is the last game.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on to some of the coaches' hirings and talk about some of these. Almost all the teams have filled their vacancies except for the Bengals and the Dolphins.
And there were 8 vacancies to start off.
Yeah, so we're gonna start right off. The Cardinals hired Kliff How you say his name? Kingsbury. So he's a college. He was Texas Tech's coach, head coach. And I know Marcus has got a lot to say on this, so I'm just throw a couple of numbers out here real quick. He was Pat Mahomes' college quarterback for his first 2 years, and those first 2 years they ranked 4th in offensive efficiency. After the 2 years after they left, they ranked 33rd. I think a lot of people are kind of dogging this hire. How you get fired from college team and go to an NFL team as a head coach? I don't know. So, Marcus, you got some more to say about this guy?
I do. I'm a diehard college football fan, and I've been a Texas Tech fan for a long time.
Who's your college team?
It ain't Maryland or Virginia. I tell you that much. I like pretty much anybody in the Big 12, which is where Texas Tech is in the Big 12.
You're a diehard without a team.
I'm a diehard college football fan. Yes.
Without a team.
Yeah.
He's like college football.
I'm just giving him a little great. Go ahead, Marcus.
And so I've been a fan of Kliff Kingsbury because I like his offense. I like the offense he runs. He was also Johnny Manziel's OC at Texas A&M, and he was also I believe he was Case Keenum's OC or at least quarterbacks coach.
He was
at Houston.
And also there was another. I forgot to write. I tried to put his name down. There was another coach, player, the backup. I think in the NFL that he had too.
Graham Harrell Grant. Graham Harrell.
You sure? I don't think he was there. I don't think
not him.
Not him.
Dang, I can't remember what his name was. But go ahead.
So I thought he was a great college football coach. Not very much winning, but he could put some offenses on that field.
How you great and not win?
Well,
because he puts. I mean, his offense was always in the top 10. But you in a division where you got Texas and Oklahoma State. That division pretty much belongs to Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. And then for a couple of years, Baylor and what's the name? The cornerback from the Chargers. What did they start with a T? I forget. Some school in Dallas. And they were dominating. So, he never had a really chance to shine because he didn't get really good draft picks. Other Oklahoma and Texas get all the good draft picks. But, I'm like one of those guys, he was supposed to go to USC and be the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he was the offensive coordinator.
Which I was totally behind. But I just don't see how you can get fired. Maybe if you leave, but if you get fired from a college coaching job and then you go take an OC position and then they hire your first, but you leave that in your first position after getting fired, is a first-time head coach in the NFL. It's not a choice I would have made. I may have brought him in as an OC and let him build up to be a head coach. But I hope he does well because, like I said, I'm a huge fan of his. I hope he does real well. But we'll see. I'm not too certain. I wish he would have came in as an OC before he came as a head coach. But
Cardinals.
Yeah,
that's why.
But I was telling Herman earlier, Pete Carroll should be feeling really old right now. He is the oldest coach in that division by far now. Like all of the coaches except Pete Carroll under 40 now in that division. So I wish him the best, but we'll see. His offense might be great, but I don't know about his defense.
Well, he's gonna have to get some offensive players. I think I see the reason behind the hire is his quarterback experience. He was a quarterback in college too. Like you said, he's familiar with Case Keenum, Patrick Mahomes.
I got his coaching tree here. You might not know this guy, Michael Brewer, he was in the Arena Football League, did kind of well in that. Case Keenum, Johnny Manziel, Davis Webb was the other kid. He was hot coming out. Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, of course, you know about them. But Davis Webb was the other guy he was thinking about.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, he's the guy that I think that benched Baker Mayfield, and that's the reason why he got Baker Mayfield went to Oklahoma.
Interesting.
Yes, that's true.
So the Bucks hired Bruce Arians. I think this is a really good hire for them. I know we talked about it before, and I said it that I thought they needed an offensive-minded coach. I think Bruce Arians is a good fit. I think one of the reasons they hired him is, and I didn't even know this, that Arians has the reputation as a quarterback whisperer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he worked, but I didn't know who he worked with. Carson Palmer,
Roethlisberger,
Luck, and Manning.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. That's what Winston needs.
Yeah.
He needs somebody to say, stop doing the stupid stuff. And I think that with this, and they hired Todd Bowles as their defensive coordinator.
Is that confirmed now? He is definitely
Todd Bowles
like flirting with the Bears defensive coordinator job.
Yeah, they said that some of the analysts said they were surprised that he did go to the Bucs, but they thought along the lines of he could always replace Arians if Arians does retire again.
And that's a big question about Arians is that he stepped down before because of health reasons, whether or not he can endure this type of rigorous training. But yeah, like you said, the quarterbacks he worked with, every last one of the quarterbacks have great things to say about Bruce Arians. He's a good teacher. He's a quarterback whisperer. If Winston can't get this straight with him now, it ain't no future for him in the NFL.
And I think that the way the structure of the contract, it's a 4-year with a 5-year option. I think it sets up like this: Winston gets 1 year, and then if Winston doesn't get it straight, they get a quarterback out of the draft.
This is
exactly. So, and then he has 4 more years. Arian has 3 more years with that new quarterback. And if they start to win, he gets that 5th year thrown in. It's like it's a perfect setup for them.
Yeah.
I love the hire. In all honesty, I think it's a great hire for them. So shout out to my coworker Daquan. He a Bucs fan. He asked me to make sure we talked about his Bucs. So the line on the Bucs.
Well, Daquan, yeah, like Herman said, Bruce Arians is actually an awesome hire for this particular team. They got the offensive weapons that he already needs. They actually still have both of those quarterbacks that run Bruce Arians' offense very well. The biggest thing they got to do is just make sure they keep Deshaun Jackson healthy and happy. And then they do have a lot of work on the defensive side of the ball. Arians likes his coaches to blitz a lot. It doesn't appear right now that the Bucs have that type of defense where they'd be able to get that accomplished. So hopefully they can find some people in the draft to get that straight. But I'm actually telling you right now, the Bucs are going to be a force to be reckoned with next year.
Yeah. I might be picking them for the division next year. We're going to have to see. But Arians already came out too. They have both the quarterbacks. He did come out and say that it's Winston. He said he feels like Winston can win it all.
And I think, too, that is more the –
That's very important.
But I think it's more the Bucs hire. That I think that was part of the criteria because the general manager already came out and had backed Winston when they fired their last one. So I think the next coach that came in had to be willing to work with him to try to make him a better quarterback. At least they could get a better decision on what they need to do.
Right, for one. Yeah, I mean, you see the setup is for the first year anyway. So.
And then another note, their old coach went back to Atlanta as their offense coordinator because they fired Starkeesian from Atlanta. So Dirk Cutter's now Atlanta's offense coordinator.
Is this the one that was there when they went to
Super Bowl?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's kind of scary too.
Yeah, that's kind of scary right there.
So, Marcus, you got anything else on the Bucs?
Well, I think Arians is a good hire. Like I said, he's a quarterback whisperer, and this will be Winston's last and final chance. And their offense was pretty good last year. I think they led the league in some stats, yards.
Yeah, they had like the number one yardage the whole year.
Yeah,
even above the Rams and above the Chiefs. So.
Scoring.
Yeah.
So, maybe Arians can come in and get everything on track. And I think it's a great hire. I'd be happy with that hire.
All right, so we're going to move on. This one was a little shocking, in my opinion. Green Bay hired Matt LaFleur from the Tennessee Titans. He was their offensive coordinator. He's under the McVay tree, if you can say McVay has a tree yet. But he's kind of under that Shanahan-McVay tree. He was actually with the Redskins when all of them was there.
Yeah. Was he?
Yeah, he was with the Shanahan.
LaFleur got to start with the Rams when McVay went over there.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, he did. But
and he went to the Titans last year.
Yeah. Right, and his offense, it ranked in the 20s, 27th in points
for this past year.
This past year with the Titans, 25th in yards, 29th in passing yards per game, and 23rd in the red zone scoring. So some people are kind of about it.
Well, a lot of coaches have him almost like the guru as far as young coaches coaching, much like McVay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he got the job.
They want that young guy. Who's, I mean, I get the hire. It's going to be interesting to see. He's younger. It's going to be interesting to see because Aaron Rodgers has been in the league for so long. He's experienced quarterback. They interviewed him and they asked him about that. He said, we're going to try to make the transition as seamless as possible. There'll be some core things that he will have to adjust to. And he said, of course, he's going to get input from Aaron Rodgers. Who wouldn't?
We spoke about this before, rather that bringing a coach that can work with Aaron Rodgers. I think he can. I think he has the maturity. I think he has the right smarts to use the best out of Aaron Rodgers and not really be coming in and try to change things from him. So I think it'd be a pretty good match.
So is LaFleur's offense a running offense? Is it a passing offense?
I have no idea.
Because
last year, he really never had the quarterback that he needed, I guess, to make it flourish. But when he was with the Rams, they had that was the year that everything kind of blossomed for him. But I wasn't sure if that was more McVay.
I was going to say, was that
or
McVay?
Was this Matt LaFleur? I mean, I'm not impressed at all. I expected Green Bay to make a bigger splash than LaFleur. I mean, I'm probably going to be wrong. I'm not, particularly fond of, offensive coordinators, but, we'll see. 2 years and with 2 different teams. And, I don't know. We'll see.
Marcus?
Well, I don't know too much about Matt LaFleur, but those stats you just gave doesn't give me much confidence. But then again,
his quarterback was injured most of the year.
True. Yeah, that's true.
Mariota was in and out. True.
But I can tell you this: when he was here with McVay with the Redskins, he was very highly regarded as a quarterback coach. They loved him.
So they let him go?
I mean, he had no choice. I mean,
They could have made him the OC.
I think he got a 4-year deal too with the 5th-year option. I wonder if this is the exact same setup. 1 year for Aaron Rodgers.
1 year? You think Aaron Rodgers only got 1 year?
No, I'm saying would the Green Bay be willing to move on from Aaron Rodgers if, let's say, he gets hurt again this year, and he has that year again? Do you get rid of Aaron Rodgers? I mean, you thought it was crazy to get rid of Peyton Manning.
I mean, it's so crazy how the flack that Rodgers is getting, like this particular year when they were using. I mean, the last few years, Rodgers was a god and he did no wrong. Now all of a sudden, Rodgers is hard to work with and Rodgers has an attitude and all this other stuff is coming out. So. And he's a really bad brother, apparently.
Oh, wow. Sorry, Mark, I cut you off on that. On LaFleur. Go ahead. You have anything else?
That was it. Like I said, he was highly regarded when he was here with the Redskins, but the stat you gave me, I'm not too impressed.
Yeah, that's what was a shocker. Like as soon as they said, I said, all right, let me go look some stuff up. And I start seeing these stats, and I was like, ooh, oh, okay, that's gonna be interesting.
We probably should look up the stats when he was with them. But again, I mean, whose offense is that?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're gonna move on to
who's their defense coordinator? Is he getting that one, or did they still keep the old one? Or
no, he's probably gonna get his own, I would assume.
Who was their defense coordinator last year? Wasn't it?
I don't know. That's how insignificant.
Yeah,
it's that defense play. I guess it's bad.
I can't remember.
I think they did say though that LaFleur was going to start trying to pull people from Titans staff, but they blocked him on that. So. He's gonna have to go out there.
I mean, hell, what's his name just got the job. He gonna take his team.
Hey, that's what they do, though.
Good Lord.
If you can't get the defensive coordinator, you get whoever his assistant defensive coordinator is, like the linebacker coach, whatever. You take that person. Usually they can't block you from a promotion. So we'll move on to Cleveland. Cleveland hired Freddie Kitchens, who was the interim offensive coordinator.
Who?
Really? I mean, all right, I'm going to give you some numbers. So if you want to see, I kind of get why they hired him. When he took over, the Browns went 5-3, or Baker Mayfield went 5-3. He started completing 68% of his passes. He threw for 19 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He's an offensive-minded coach, which I felt, again, I said before, I felt like that's what they needed. I wasn't expecting him. I'll give you that in all honesty. Greg Williams has been let go. They can't keep around the interim coach. It just doesn't work. So, Baker Mayfield seemed to like the guy, and it seems to me like it's a hire because it's what Baker Mayfield wanted. I guess the Cleveland Browns didn't want Mayfield staring down another coach on the sideline.
and he did boost Baker Mayfield's play.
He did.
But he boosted it for 8 games. Well, it's an 8 game. He just became an offensive coordinator for 8 games, and now you're the head coach.
But they must have had something in mind because they let him call
thought
the
highly
plays.
of him.
Yeah, they let him call the plays in the fourth preseason.
8 games, and you didn't win them all.
What was he? What was he before?
He was the QB coach.
Oh.
I mean, I think that's a step backwards for
Cleveland. Well, this is again we're talking Cleveland.
Yeah.
So they get to hire a head coach / offensive coordinator, so they're saving money on their coaching staff. Watch, because they probably won't have offensive coordinator.
It's not easy doing the whole job.
But that's
very tough.
It's not. It is. You're right, and that's why Jason Garrett struggled at first.
Yeah.
I think that this is a appease Baker Mayfield.
I agree.
In all honesty,
I mean, I don't understand why you couldn't have hired somebody and maybe kept him on as offensive coordinator.
Could have hired Greg Williams and kept him on as offensive coordinator. You could have did that.
Yeah.
But Kitchens.
Was he going for?
Yes, they were worried about losing him to.
He had another couple of offers.
Was it Miami or somebody? He had some interest out there. Okay. So I think that played a role too. What you Marcus Brian? I mean Marcus.
Dude, he used to be close to the Cowboys at one time.
What?
That's what it says on. That's what it says on online. He previously
tight ends coach or something.
I don't say exactly what, but he was on the Cowboys staff.
Under who? Jason Garrett or under?
I don't get that much detail. I just said Cowboys.
For years.
Once again, you ask me details I don't see.
Like, don't throw something out there if you don't know.
I'm just telling you he was a Cowboys coach at one time.
I don't think that's right.
I think you make it up stuff.
He might have been the Cowboys and college team.
Hold on, I'm gonna tell you right now. He was he served as an assistant coach. He was a tight ends coach in 2000. He started as a tight ends coach in 2006.
You said it.
I said tight ends coach.
2006.
But I was joking. In 2006, that was with Parcells.
Parcells,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, good luck to him. I wish you the best. I just.
Breaking news. Mike McCarthy is going to sit out this year.
I had a feeling. I had a feeling because once he didn't get the Jets job, that was the only really option I saw he had left over because he had already declined the Browns. Yeah.
Make it happen, Dallas.
You as a what? As a coordinator?
Coordinator, yeah.
Why not the head coach?
Because Jason Garrett is fine. We have a head coach.
I don't think Mike McCarthy might be.
That's your opinion, John Gruden.
I mean, at least our coach know he has a job. Unlike your coach had to wait a whole week.
John Gruden.
You mean Jay Gruden?
Whatever his name is. Same garbage on the field.
Same guy.
Mark, you got anything about the Cleveland Browns?
Oh, like I said, I just think Kitchens was just there to help out Mayfield, and I think that's what got him strong.
So when
taking forward,
when Cleveland sweeps Steelers next year, how you gonna feel about it?
I'll be singing high praises to Kitchens. I will be singing high praises.
All right, we're gonna move on. We're getting a little long on the show. Denver Broncos hired Vic Fangio. Great defensive coordinator. Apparently
from the
Bears. Apparently that's what Elway wanted. He wanted somebody who was good on one side of the ball.
They're hiring Kubiak back as offensive coordinator, which is what he wanted to run his offense anyway. So.
Yeah, it's a little odd.
I mean, I thought Kubiak like with Arians had health issues. That's why he ended up retiring.
He was already there in the.
But he was working in the office, but now I guess he's healthy enough to at least be the offensive coordinator.
How do you feel though if you're Fangio and that's not who you pick?
I mean, I think Fangio is 60 years old. This is his first chance to coach an NFL team, so I think he's elated at everything they throw at him.
That's true. So that might be a good match because they are two older coaches. I didn't think about that. What you guys think? Anything?
I think it's a pretty good move for him.
Because that defense, he has to play.
Let me tell you a couple things that he did defenses for, and they were all top defenses. Carolina Panthers back in 95, 98. Houston Texans back in 2001 to 2005. The Baltimore Ravens, 2006, 2008. and in 2009. Did a couple of stints. He did a short time in San Francisco, which they did have a decent defense when he had. And then, of course, the Bears. But he's had some stints at some pretty good defenses. I'm gonna take you all way back in the day. You may not remember this one, but back in 1994, when the USFL was going on, he was the Philadelphia Stars defensive coordinator, and they had one of the number one defenses in the USFL. So he's a defensive man. Go way back.
Yeah, we don't know who he's talking about either.
You talking about wrestling, the
Right.
USFL?
That was spring league. That was spring league. And the Philadelphia Stars
Play with who hate me.
the USFL team.
It was he hate me. What?
All right, so the last hire came in right before we started the show. The Jets hired Adam Gase. I was surprised that Gase got fired from Miami. I know Miami wasn't that great, but nobody else in the division is, except for the Patriots. I thought he had them moving in the right direction, but I guess I was wrong. I don't like this hire just because get outside of your daggone division. He already showed like he didn't do that much in Miami. Why are you hiring them Jets? I don't even understand that. We're just gonna recycle.
I'm just curious what was wrong with McCarthy. I mean, he was in your building. He was there. He admitted he wanted to.
Maybe he's asking for too much.
What,
maybe
money?
too much control. Maybe.
Too much, yeah. Maybe too much.
I'm just curious why they chose Gase over McCarthy. I mean, this.
I don't like.
Did anybody have his Gates
record? No,
right, I'm pretty sure it's pretty bad.
I mean,
and this came from what, Chicago? Bad. He was a Chicago offensive coordinator initially.
Was he?
When he with
but he
quarterback with the bad attitude. Because remember, because he brought him in last year. You know who I'm talking about. Cutler. Yeah. He brought Cutler in. He was off.
He was in Chicago.
He was 23 and 25.
Okay, I mean that's not that bad. That was 2 seasons, right?
3.
No, 3 seasons. What? Yeah, 3 seasons. It's mediocre, but everybody comes into the.
I'm just curious why all these. I mean, there are some great coordinators right now in the playoffs. Why? I mean,
why they go so far?
Why all these teams just jumped in and just picked these guys? I mean, I don't know. None of these are really like a big splash. The only one I liked really was Arians.
I think so far.
Fangio. I mean, I'm cool with Fangio and getting Kubiak this thing, but I'm not a fan of the Packers pickup. I'm not a fan of the Cardinals. I'm definitely not a fan of the Cardinals pickup. Definitely not a fan of the Browns. The only other thing, I don't know if you guys have heard this yet, but when we first came in, I was reading. You know who the Dolphins are talking to?
They're trying to get Harbaugh. They're trying to trade for Harbaugh. I was
well, him too, but who else? There's somebody else that a blast from the past kind of.
Who?
It's Ryan.
No, you are kidding.
Who?
Ryan.
They get out of the division.
I would love to see Rex Ryan back in the NFL, regardless of how he coaches. He's very entertaining.
If anything, they should go out there and Bill Cowher.
So who doesn't have a coach? Who still has a coach position open?
Miami and the Bengals.
So you think are they waiting for Dallas's defensive coordinator?
No, I think Miami already interviewed him and they liked him. I saw a tweet about it. They liked him, but they haven't pulled the trigger on him. So,
well, they can't yet, can they?
You have to wait until after that.
They gotta wait until after the Cowboys lose on Saturday.
Well, they're gonna wait until the Super Bowl. They have to wait. If they can leak it.
There's still another few other hot coaches out there that still may have a shot. Mike Munchak with the Steelers offensive line is still out there. He's getting a couple of.
He had coached the Titans before, right?
Yes, he did. Also, Eric Bieniemy, who was Kansas City's.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Coordinator, he's still out there. And then you guys, defense coordinator.
No, he's not on the market anymore. Rob Marinelli. Yeah.
No.
That's our defensive coordinator.
No.
Defensive coordinator.
But what about what's his name too?
Chris McCall.
Was it Hutchinson getting no? Isn't he the offensive coordinator for the Chargers?
Yes, he is. No, I don't think a lot of people getting his name out there too.
I'm telling you,
the fact that Herman just made that announcement that Mike McCarthy's going to sit out.
That's ridiculous.
I would have bet money that he would have been one of the first ones scooped up.
You know, sometimes they feel like this is their man. I mean, I guess maybe the Jets are thinking, okay, Gase knows the division. I mean, I wonder what his record was against the Jets and who's the other AFC East? I always forget.
Patriots,
Jets, and
Buffalo. I wonder what his record looked like against those two teams. Let's take out the Patriot loss.
I think they went 0-2 against Buffalo this year.
Oh, okay.
Did they really?
I know they definitely lost one.
I do know this. They went on a 3-game losing streak. I tell you that
Again,
much.
they're classic with this between Miami and the Jets in the division. They do this crap all the time. They were doing it with Belichick and Parcells and all that mess.
And one other thing too, Josh McDaniels was another one that was supposed to have been hot or looking at a couple of spots. Well, he's going to stay put in New England, of course. But I don't think he got a lot of looks because of what he did last year. He left the Colts at the altar.
Yeah, that's probably the case. But I think that.
Well, look at what the Colts are doing now, so it probably was a benefit.
Yeah, I think he's playing the long
That's
game.
interesting. Man.
He's playing the long game for the Patriots.
Frank Reich was their second choice.
They wouldn't be doing this with
I
Daniels.
don't think they would.
They probably wouldn't.
I don't think they would have been.
But yeah, I think
They definitely wouldn't have
McDaniels
been running
is
this ball like they are.
No.
I think McDaniels is playing the long game. I think he's holding out.
He's
for
holding out for Belichick to
Patriots
retire and Patriots. He's sliding there.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So, all right, so we covered all the hirings. Anything else to talk about for this week?
I just want to know that anybody out there want to join me in prayer that the Cowboys will get defeated this Saturday.
Watch the Cowboys win Saturday morning?
Just hit me up.
Great time Saturday.
Yeah.
We had a ball.
Should have been here.
I'm sure you did.
All right, but thank y'all for watching the show. Again, we're looking forward to some more great football this weekend. It's playoffs. This is when it really means the most.
Everything.
It means everything. Marcus is going to take us out.
Before we leave, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the like button, share the video, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell icon so you get notified whenever we go live. I would also encourage you to head on over to sportsintel.net for some great commentary and opinions on everything sports related. That's sportsintel.net. And give them the Twitter handle, Brian.
At Delay of Game 3.
At Delay of Game 3. We'll see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. With the Cowboys no longer in the playoffs, we out.
Go Cowboys.
Cowboys.